What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today, we got more cards to be talking about from these upcoming starter decks. I love release season, reveal season, call it what you will. I love when there are regular drops of new cards about which we can be getting rather excited, because I am a very excitable fellow, and all this is doing is making me more excited. We have a few cards to be talking about from starter deck 12 today, so let's start off having a look at Sistermon Blank. Of course, we saw Sistermon Noir the other day, although really it's Sistermon Seal. We all know it's going to be Sistermon Seal over here. That character gets changed. Fair enough. Job's a good one. But we didn't see Sistermon Blank. That's a little bit sad. Good news is we now have. Shout out to the lovely folks over at Ensan Gaming for providing our translations. Those dudes are cool. We like those dudes a lot. And what we've got here is a free cost to play, 3,000 power. Remember, the Sistermon often don't evolve or anything like that, so this is what we're stuck with. It's fine, inoffensive. But when you play, you may trash a card from your hand to draw two. And bearing in mind, like, every card vaguely related to this can play Sistermon for free. The Jesmon from BT6 can, the Jesmon from this starter deck can, the Gankumon from this starter deck, when Digivolving, can. So, yeah, this is nice. We are going to be playing this for free quite a bit. The question then, of course, becomes, well, is trashing a card from your hand to draw two better than just plain drawing one? Because actually, that is like a legitimate alternative. Because if we have a look at the Sistermon Blank from BT6, when you play, draw a card. Here, when you play, trash a card to draw two. And they've both got the same stats. And the answer is, it depends. And I'm sorry, I know that's not a particularly great answer. I'm sorry about that. But the answer is, it depends. Essentially, there are going to be times where you really need to draw the two extra cards. This is better. There are going to be times where you really want to trash a card from your hand, because remember, you can play Sistermon for free from your trash. Now, not all of them do this. The Gankumon, when you Digivolve, plays from your trash, which is good. The Jesmon from starter deck 12 only plays from your hand when attacking, and a Jesmon from BT6 can play from either. But sometimes you will want a Sistermon in your trash, because you have a Digimon that can play from your trash. And like I say, Gankumon, when you Digivolve, can only play from your trash. So if you're about to evolve into Gankumon, and you've got a Sistermon in hand but not in your trash, you are going to want to trash it, so you can then play it when you Digivolve Gankumon. Whereas a Jesmon from BT6, it doesn't matter whether it's in your hand or trash. So if you want to trash from your hand, this is better. But there are going to be times you don't. There are going to be times where you actually really don't want to trash a card from your hand, where you cannot afford to drop a card, where every card in your hand is precious, etc., in which case a straight draw one is going to be better. What this basically does is it gives you more options. It gives you, now you've got potentially 8 Sistermon that can draw, rather than 4, and that alone is pretty good, but it just gives you options in terms of which one is actually going to end up being a little bit better. This is nice. Also, on both players' turns, while you have a card with Huckmon in its name, or a card with Royal Knight in its traits, this Digimon gets Decoy Red and Black. Decoy, for anyone that's forgotten, is that skill that when one of your other Digimon, in this case one of your other black and or red Digimon, would be deleted, you may delete this Digimon to prevent it, although it is deleted by your opponent's effect. That is rather important. Okay, cool. So it gives you that extra layer of protection. If your opponent is trying to delete one of your Digimon using an effect that you really would rather that they didn't, well, Sistermon Blank, as long as you've got a Digimon with Huckmon in its name, or a card with Royal Knight in its traits, and you really should. If you're playing this deck and you don't, something's gone wrong, then you have Decoy. And this is great. This is flat out, inarguably great. Sistermon Seal from this set, for this starter deck, when you play, reveal 3 cards on the top of your deck, put a Huckmon or Royal Knight into your hand, well, card with Huckmon in its name or Royal Knight in its traits, and on all turns, all your Digimon with Huckmon in their name or Royal Knight in their traits gain reboot. Lovely. This is it as well. Basically, these Sistermon cards keep coming through, And they keep having these really nice skills, and they keep just making it brilliant. And honestly, the biggest issue here is going to start being, essentially, how to choose between them. You know, we've now got Sistermon Blank from BT6 that draws 1 when you play and gives all of your Sistermon blocker. And now we got this one that trashes 1, draws 2 when you play, and gives this particular Digimon decoy. And the answer is they are both great, and they both deserve a place in the deck. These Sistermon are something else, and they are good. Now, while we're talking about really good cards, I think we can be a little bit quicker when we talk about Solarmon. And it's not because Solarmon is not a good card. Solarmon is absolutely a good card. We've just seen this before. You see, just the other day, I showed you the Chikurimon that is coming around in the other starter deck in Starter Deck 13. It's the same card. It's a free cost to play, 0 cost to Digimon, 3,000 power, level 3, that has a skill on both players' turns. Players cannot reduce the play cost. And we saw this exact skill on the Psychmon in BT8. That is, of course, the purple version of it. And I would suspect we're going to see this on more in the future. It was weirdly just a Psychmon thing, and remember we had BT9, and this was not printed as a skill on any of the Digimon in BT9. But now we got these starter decks. We now got it in purple and red and black, and I rather suspect that green and yellow and blue will be following in short order. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see all 3 of them coming around in BT10. So it's really nice. It stops you reducing the play cost. Something like Dexmon that reduces the play cost by 3 for each Tamer and Digimon your opponent has in play. And bearing in mind Dexmon is nuts. Yes. But remember, it is only play cost. The example I gave you the other day was Darkdramon. Darkdramon does not reduce the play cost. It lets you put 5 D-Brigade to the top of your deck, and for everyone you put at the top, you gain 2 memory, not the same thing as reducing the play cost. So Tumon would absolutely be stopping Darkdramon but not Dexmon, and this would be stopping Dexmon but not Darkdramon. It's a cool card. We talked about it before. We don't need to go into great detail. It is going to see play just as long as any of these decks that reduce play cost are good. And frankly, they keep printing more cards that do reduce play cost. Expect to see a bunch of this. And so we can finish with a missing level 4 that we've been waiting for. It's Bao Huckmon. We knew Bao Huckmon was coming because it's a Jesmon deck. It kind of had to be. And it's a level 4, 5 cost to play normally, 2 cost to Digivolve, 6,000 power. So the play cost and the power are on the higher end. But what we have here is a lovely inheritable skill. While this Digimon has Huckmon in its name, or Royal Knights in its traits, this Digimon gains 1,000 power. Okay. It's not exactly a game-breaking skill, I think is fair to say. You know, Bao Huckmon from BT6, when you're attacking once per turn, if you've got a Sistermon in play, you delete a Digimon with 5,000 power or less. I like that a lot more. Now, obviously, that's not always going to work because you're not always going to have a Digimon with 5,000 power on the opponent's side, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it will, alright? And when it does, that's going to be pretty good. Incidentally, that is the only other Bao Huckmon we've seen so far. It really is just the pair of them. But we all know by this stage that that extra 1,000 power can have an impact. That extra 1,000 power can be the difference. You know, we've seen that the Jesmon from this particular deck has 12,000 power, and honestly, that's actually pretty high. 12,000 power is good. But if you're against a 12,000 power Digimon, you can attack and you'll go down, but with the extra 1,000 power, all of a sudden you're on 13, they're on 12, you delete them, you carry on, life is good. It makes a real difference. Honestly, we've seen like Savior Huckmon can be amazing. Because, you know, the new one, if this Digimon has Royal Knight in its traits, you can play a Digimon with Sistermon in its name from your hand or trash for free. Probably should have mentioned that one earlier when I was talking about Sistermon. Point is, this new Savior Huckmon, yes! Brilliant. Really makes a difference. Really good card. One that we can get pretty excited about. This, less so. It's an extra 1,000 power. And I'm not saying that an extra 1,000 power is bad. Obviously, an extra 1,000 power is good. What I'm saying is that we've seen so many of these cards in these Jesmon decks that are really, legitimately good, that make a real legitimate difference, that this one comes along and you're like, I mean, alright. But it's not the same, ladies and gentlemen. It's not the same. So there we go, lots of new exciting cards on Starter Deck 12. We are in reveal mode. It's not going to be too long until we've got the full deck list for the sets. When we have the full deck list for the sets, I will be bringing you a video for each of these where we go through them and we can put the whole deck together and life is good. For now, I want to know what you think about these new cards, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.